Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. And if you are just joining us, this is VOP This Morning on Voice of the People Television. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has declared former Minister of Petroleum Resources, who is also the former Governor of Bayelsa State, Timipre Sylva, wanted. Well, in a statement signed by its spokesperson, Dele Oyewale, on Monday, the commission said Sylva was wanted in connection with an alleged case of conspiracy and dishonest conversion of $14.8 million. He stated that the amount was part of the funds injected by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, into Atlantic International Refinery and Petrochemical Limited for the construction of a refinery. The FCC said it secured a warrant for the arrest of the former minister at the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos on November 6, 2025. It added that the order granted by Justice D.I. Olu stated that an order is made issuing a warrant to the applicant or any officer of the commission, police or any law enforcement officer for the arrest of the respondent for the purpose of bringing him before the commission to answer to the criminal offense he is alleged to have committed. The FCC also enjoined everyone with useful information on Sylva's whereabouts to contact any of its zonal directorates across the country or the nearest police station and other security agencies. We still have our gentlemen here with us, Prince Francis Chilaka, Mr. Elvis Elimi Helen, and Lieutenant Dombi, who joined us from Abuja, as well as Engineer Ajebu, who joined us from our Oka station. Gentlemen, thanks for staying with us.
Thank you.
Prince, what's going on? This thing, do you think it's just about failed refinery project, or do you think it has anything to do with the scare, the coup scare? Why is this coming up at this moment?
Well, you know that, let me say, I'll say with all sense of responsibility, that there is a serious trust deficit between the government and the people. And at every point in time, the government has continued to lie to the people, to try to deceive the people, to pass a wrong information to the people. And because of this, anything the government puts out there, the people just feel that these people want to take us for granted. And they fail to understand that Nigerians are becoming wiser. Nigerians are becoming more knowledgeable. Nigerians are no longer the same Nigerians, you will just say anything and then they will accept it and go and sleep. No. Before now, we heard that there was an alleged coup. In between, we heard that an ex-governor was
had been fingered.
In between, we heard his house was ransacked by soldiers. Add the dots now, bros. We're not stupid in this country now. Add what and what together. How can everything happen? Is it a coincidence?
That's what I'm asking, because at the point they said a certain $20 million, was wired into his account.
Good. So now EFCC has come out to say they're declaring him wanted. And then I ask, all the people EFCC have declared wanted, all the cases on the table of EFCC, they have called them high-profile cases. How many of them have been able to resolve?
Okay, so now I want us to be very specific. You think that this has anything to do with the coup?
Well, I mean, behind every rumor, there's an element of truth.
Okay.
So that is where I want to hinge my own analysis on.
Okay, Mr. Elvis, you see, at a point, Sylva's spokesperson came out and said, look, he's not on the wrong, because we were told that he was on the wrong. At that point in time, at the material point, he was outside the country, and with his wife, by the way. And what we heard that time was that, look, he's not on the wrong, and his democratic credentials are unquestionable and all of that. And just a few days after that, we heard that EFCC is declaring him wanted for a certain $14 million that was supposedly meant, to build a refinery. Now, the question would be, why suddenly did the EFCC discover that the refinery project was stalled? Is it some form of coincidence, or what do you think? What should we know? Or what do you know?
There are two things here, Mr. Akoro. The first one is, as at the time the spokesperson told Nigerians that he was on medical checkup abroad,
Okay.
we have not heard about anything like that to do with EFCC. Nigerians have not been told that there was some money, allegedly he has embezzled. We only heard of this coup scare then, and that his house were raided. Then the spokesperson also still told us that he still has a conference in Malaysia that he was still going to attend.
Yes.
That after the UK trip, he's moving to Malaysia, and that he has clean bill. But the next thing we now heard now, that we just heard now, is that EFCC declared him wanted yesterday. This is a new angle to it. The one we heard before was because we heard that there was a certain governor who was behind the alleged coup as financier, and that, in fact, if you look at the statement that was issued by a spokesperson, it was that on that coup grant that he denied that his master, his principal, is not part of it. The new one that just came now that's what we should ask the government. Is this just happening? Has it just happened? This man has left government now over almost 2 years. You know, he was a minister, he resigned and contested for governorship of that state before he lost the election. It's over 2 years now he left the government. What has happened ever since that this case of fraud was not thrown up, that it's just been thrown up now? So if you put the dots together, you discover that Sylva's matter is not just this year's declaration, it's coming from that coup matter that we heard earlier, number one. Then number two, how many declared wanted in Nigeria has actually become, actually say true? They always declare wanted like Jamboree. We saw the case of the former Kogi governor that was even somewhere, he hid himself for over 6 months, and EFCC kept telling Nigerians that, oh, Yaya Bello, the day we get him, we are going to try him. Even the EFCC chairman said he was going to use him as an example, and if he cannot try Yaya Bello and jail him, that he was going to resign. Today, Yaya Bello is free. He has even gotten married. He's even talking of going abroad now for other things. Okay. That's even this.
So as far as you are concerned,
if there is nothing, if it is not the coup matter, forget about this declaration.
The declaration, okay, because the EFCC declaration,
yes,
it has become a norm for us.
We have seen it.
Because you never get to the end of it.
Just jump on.
All right, thank you very much. Let's try and establish a connection with Engineer Fimba Ejegu, who joined us from our Oka outstation. Engineer Ejegu, good to. Are you there? Can we talk to you at this moment?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. Beautiful, beautiful. Unfortunately, we missed out on your take on the previous issue, but let's talk about what is going on now. EFCC has declared the former governor of Bayelsa State, former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Timipre Sylva, wanted. You have followed the conversation, you know, at a point, he was said to be on medical vacation in the UK. From there, he was supposed to travel to Malaysia and all of that. Now, the question Nigerians are asking, what is it with this declaration that he's wanted by the EFCC? He served in government. He left government like 2 years ago and all of that. But another question I'd like to ask you, what do you think is the connection between Timipre Sylva and the coup scare? He has benefited so much from this government. He served as governor. He served as Minister of State for Petroleum. What else will he be looking for? Do you think that it could actually be real, that it had something to do with the coup scare? What do you think? What do you know? Let us into all that you know.
Thank you very much, Okoro. I think sincerely, with the information available to Security Service, it's quite obvious that perhaps he will only be a suspect in that regard until he's proven guilty in a competent court of law. Because as a matter of fact, we know our politics in our country. When you don't dine properly with the leading political party, sometimes they bring up issues that mar your person or attempt to discredit your political career. Among so many other things, as a matter of fact, if there's any issue of coup, there are institutions which are responsible to unravel professionally and address the people publicly on the matters like this, and not wait for people to make insinuations from quarters that probably are not very credible. The president, the national security advisor, the minister of information and the head of the armed forces, of course, they have apparatus which enables us to be well informed on cases like this. So it's unfortunate that if Timipre Sylva is singled out, then certainly they will need to engage the institutions and then to see that he faces the law in this regard.
Okay, now, Engineer Ajewu, I'd like to ask you a very direct question. Permit me to put you on the spot. You are Nigerian, all of us are Nigerians, and if you understand what goes on in Nigeria, how things happen in Nigeria, if you were Timipre Sylva and all of this, you know, going around you, and you're outside the country, will you come back?
Timipre Sylva is a
No, I'm talking about you. If you were in his shoes, will you come back?
As a matter of fact, sincerely for myself, I will be back. I will come back to answer to whatever the allegations are. Of course, I know certainly I may not have involved in any of such. Then I'll make myself available.
All right, interesting point there.
For the law.
All right, now, Engineer, I would like to move away slightly from the, the discussion around the coup and all that. Let's take this back, in history. For example, Timipre Sylva was the Minister for Petroleum from 2019 to 2023.
Yes.
And December 2020, we heard about a possible erection of a modular refinery to start with, which actually happens to, be the one we're looking at this point in time through the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. The Atlantic or the Said Atlantic Artisanal Refinery and Petrochemical Limited supposed to come upstream, or rather, they're supposed to begin the construction. In this particular business, we've invested $35 billion. And I think it was on the 15th of October, thereabouts, that a particular member of the House of Representatives representing Edo State, I think Edo Central, I can't get on top of my head now, Sawaru happens to be his name, made a statement, or more like a revolution in the House, that there is nothing to show that 50 billion naira worth of contract or worth of refinery or project actually is on ground. And this happened within the time that we have this particular man now, playing as the director of the NCDB, and also, and all that. Let's just walk around this. Now, is there anything wrong in calling him to come and answer for a certain $14.8 million, which is supposed to be part of the money already spent on this project that, as of the time this report actually is out, have got $35 million. And yet, there is nothing to show for it.
Specifically, there's nothing wrong with Timipre Sylva coming to answer for funds that have been managed within when he was the boss of such an institution. Like any other public officer, we must be responsible and held accountable whenever we are in terms of affairs of any ministry, any MDAs. So it's very important that they make it a routine that every public officer, once your tenure is over, you have an opportunity and a window period, perhaps 6 months or a year, to face everything that has to do with funds that has transpired within your period in office. So it's very essential that this is not different from the others.
All right, thank you so much. Now let's get your opinion on this, Mr. Loknam Dombe. Let me get you join the conversation. Is there any time that we wake up to say that it's too late for us now to carry out investigation and all that? All right, I was just told that we've lost communications with Loknam Dombe. Let's bring this to you, Prince Francis. Investigations, can it ever be any late? Because recall that at this point in time, 210 trillion naira is yet to be accounted for from our NMPCL and all that. So is there anything wrong now that 2 years after or 2 years down the line or thereabouts, we're beginning to investigate what really happened with $35 million?
There's nothing absolutely wrong. I mean, you can't put a time limit to when you should do proper forensic audit and investigation. But you see, the thing is not about the investigation now. The thing is, you wake up, you declare somebody wanted. Has there been a process before now inviting him to come and defend himself? Has there been an inquiry? Has there been an audit? Has the audit been made public? You know, so that's what we said. Is it a coincidence that, you know, so they said a governor was allegedly involved in a coup, and then before you know it, the EFCC did not go to his house. It was the military. We were told I went to his house. So what is the collaboration?
So you think this is political witch hunt?
No, I mean, I'm not going to call it a witch hunt, but it's purely political. And the truth is not being told to Nigerians. Because if it was really an issue that had to be dealt with by the EFCC, why did the military go to his house? What was the military
that is the question that we need to unravel.
What was military looking for?
You don't think he has double issue now to handle? One for the alleged coup, and now this one now coming up from the EFCC.
Now that EFCC has declared him wanted, for how many months was the Ayabo declared wanted? Your former minister of aviation, what's that his name again?
Hadika.
That scammed. He did 419 to 200 million Nigerians. Did the EFCC declare him wanted?
He's guessing.
Better Edu, that was responsible for palliative for the poorest of the poor of Nigerians. Did EFCC declare wanted? Why are we using different spoons to test the same food?
Now, Prince, the problem is this. The bigger problem is, why are we getting to hear all of this at this time? The coup scare, the refinery failed project, and all of that. That is the question.
Well, if you say, when we say refinery, I mean, between you and I just say, yes, and I won't build a refinery. Because I don't say, the one with the NNPC they manage, we never see anything from inside. It has not succeeded. It has not benefited Nigerians. So why must we keep investing in something we know we cannot manage? As you and I sit today, nobody has really told Nigerians how much shares we have as a country in Dangote refinery. Nobody. So everything about government is secrecy. We shouldn't be.
Talking about secrecy, I want us to talk a bit more about this school scare, you know. Let's leave Timipre Sylva out of it, you know, because he's not around. We also heard that certain 16 officers, you know, were under investigation, they were being interrogated and all of that. And it looks like this Trump's guns are blazing has shifted our focus away from the coup. No, but do you think that the government will at some point come to tell us that, look, we have concluded investigations, these people were involved or were not involved?
No, the government ab initio told you that there was no coup.
But the same government told us that people were being investigated.
Yes, but they didn't tell you they were being investigated for a coup. I mean, we need to understand the whole language, you know. And then you see, you cannot take what has happened, whether there was a school scare or not, you cannot take it out of context of the way the service chiefs were removed.
Okay.
You cannot tell me that the service chiefs were removed because of Boko Haram and insurgents and no. There is more to it. There is more to it. And that's why I said that there's a trust deficit. The people don't believe anything the government says. Even when you hear people shouting on your mandate, even your senators who always think on your mandate will stand, they don't even believe in that mandate. You heard Senator Ndume saying that he was asked to pay to see Mr. President. It has become difficult for him to see Mr. President. A sitting senator.
That belongs to the same party with the president.
So it shows you the kind of executive recklessness we're having right now.
Prince, in all of this, do you think that the president is aware or his people are just shooting?
Mr. Koro, please, I think this is where I get offended when people say Mr. President is not aware. This is the president who told you, this is the president who told you that he spent 30 25, 30 years preparing to be a president.
Okay.
And so somebody like that must be, on top of his he must be in charge of his onions. He must know what he's doing.
But we also have officialdom that protects the president, from the chief of staff, the chief secretary, personal secretary, principal secretary, and all of that.
When we say
so these are layers of authority that you have to pass.
When we say this, we try to cover and give excuses. And that is why we are giving excuses on behalf of Mr. President that he didn't know the names of the people he was granting clemency. The box stops on his desk.
Okay. So, excuse me, Prince, when we say that the box stops at the president's desk, does it necessarily mean that the president has to sign off on every decision of government? That is why he has personal assistants. That is why he has ministers, people that he trusts, that they could, protect him, protect the government and all of that. Do you imagine that the president will have to sign off on every...
Even at that, Mr. Okoro, even at that, the president must be briefed.
Okay.
As a special assistant.
By who?
As a special assistant. If I bring a file, for instance, if there's a file now to liquidate VOP,
okay,
and I just take the file to the chairman of VOP, okay, sign, and I don't explain that file to him and he signs, would you have done your job as an advisor? The president should be able to look at the file, even if it's not written. The president should know. The president should be able to know what you're bringing to him to sign. How about if you're bringing a document asking him to sign off his presidency? He will just endorse it. Okay. Because he trusts you. Things don't work that way. Let us stop giving excuses.
All right. Now, Mr. Elvis, on the table, Prince was of the opinion that it's more like we're having different laws for different people. And our anti-graft agencies are kind of working for different intention instead of napping or instead of getting or nabbing the people who have been indicted in one way or another for mismanagement of public funds and all that. What do you have to say about this? And how do you think we can find a way to end all this? Because, Nigeria is a nation that should have a single constitution, one law for everybody. The rule of law should be what should supersede. But now it's more like we're cherry picking in taking our decision and even in persecuting individuals. How do we get out of it, please?
It's just because we don't even believe in that constitution you made mention of. We have it just like ordinary document. Because by the time you swear that you're taking up an office and you swear to defend the constitution, one is you are expected to have defend that constitution in total. But what do we see? We see that the executive is doing the job of the legislator, and as well as doing the job of the judiciary. The constitution do not allow that, but that's what we see. A situation where there's no check and balances. What else do you expect? So if there is anybody that his matter favors the presidency or the executive, that matter will not fly. It will not ride. Then what do? You are pushing the constitution behind. That's what we are seeing. That's what we have seen in most of these celebrated cases that we hear about EFCC, or because the person has, is not going to the other way, is no longer part of their camp. So EFCC should now dust his profile and begin to look for where he has erred. Why has that person not been brought before now? So if we really want to be sincere to ourselves, when you are coming to an office, you declare your assets. The law says that. Then when you are also leaving, you declare your assets. So by the time you declare your assets as you are coming in and when you are leaving, you are declaring your assets, let the law enforcement agent now begin to look into the disparity between what you declared when you were coming in and the one you declared when you are leaving. It starts from there. But unfortunately, we now see that 2 years, 3 years after you leave office, nobody look at your asset and your ability or whatever when you were leaving until you now step on toes. When you now, why is he coming at this time to step on toes? Okay, you not quickly activate the anti-graft agency and say, go and look at his records when he was there. So if that selective justice is not called, we are not moving anywhere.
Okay, thank you so much. Engineer Fimba, let's get your opinion on this, please. Our anti-graft agency, this is not the first time they've been accused of becoming more like a tool for the All Progressives Congress. Recall that before now, after the ADC, the talks about the possible coalition, the likes of Ihedioha, even David Mark, even not Ekoremadu, please, I beg your pardon, I can't remember on top of my head his name. I'm trying to remember the name of the man now, which EFCs actually were going after, you know. And he had ADC come up to say that they are trying to politically reach all the people who are becoming a bit vocal about this or against this administration. And now we're seeing something like that playing out again with former governor of Bayelsa State, Timipre Sylva. Please help us actually walk around this. How will EFCC redeem its face and also regain the trust of the people, especially the mandate that they had when Olusegun Obasanjo put them together?
I think the EFCC entirely they have to overhaul the entire system and be very fair and firm with the genuine rules of engagement which the institution was established in the first place. Because what we see recently is selective witch hunting, which is not nice. And it does not yield good fruits for development of our country, our dear nation. I sincerely think the leadership of institutions such as EFCC, ICPC, which take political colorations these days, is failing in their assignment. And it will go a very long way to give a lot of discredit our country. Sincerely, I think the leadership of such institutions should, they can't hear me. Hello.
I can hear you. Go on.
The leadership of such institutions should ensure that they overhaul the aim and objectives which they established and follow up to ensure that our country gets the best. Else, if they are only giving political witch hunting, sincerely, it will never be able to stand the test of time. It will not be sustainable.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Engineer Fimba Jogo, for your submission. We appreciate you, gentlemen, for being with us in the studio thus far. Thank you so much, Mrs. Chilak. I learned we have to let you, step out now. Thank you for being part of today's show.
You're welcome.
And more grace in your endeavor for today. All right, Mr. Elvis, thank you for being with us. Engineer Fimba, thank you so much for staying with us. As we move over to the third topic of conversation, which is the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu sending high-powered delegation to UK over Ike Ekweremadu's case. I guess I was missing it up that Ike Ekweremadu was the next topic of conversation. So we'll look into this after this break, please. Do want to stay with us.